Wolf family, how you doing? It's Mickey Severson, the Harambe keeper. Looking for something real quick. You know what? We'll get to it in a little bit. I want to welcome you to the Harambe Keeper podcast. We are going to have Pete Barlow from Giallo, all the way from South Korea, the home of soju and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, we're gonna talk with him about being a veteran writer. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his current situation, what he's got planned for the future. He and I are going to collaborate on doing a. We're going to do something. Okay, I'm obviously an author. I'm trying to get my book published, and that's a whole nother podcast. Let me tell you. But not only am I doing that, I'm doing a cookbook because the cookbook was the end result of me sucking up to both my editor and my now former publisher. But I'm also doing a writer's guide, which is nothing more than an AAR for the book. Okay. Clarence Wagonfield. Yeah, I love G.I. Lowe because the man, God bless him, he has earned his long-suffering badge and his friendship with me. He just needs the V device on his long-suffering badge, which is why he puts up with me. Okay. So, and I love him for it. And there are days I worry about him because, like, he's that really sweet, lovable, nice guy, and I don't want him to be the sweet, lovable, nice guy that just gets burned out to no end. That's one way I'm very afraid for him. So, I'm going to help him to not become a curmudgeon like me. So, curmudgeon is just me being grumpy. So, all right. So we're gonna get G.I. Lowe on here in a minute. I got to keep a promise to my buddy J Dub over at BB Nation Radio. I didn't do it last week, so I got to do it this week. This is weird by my veteran standards. So, yeah, brace yourself, guys. Brace yourself. Oh, you look up in the corner. You can see my Harambe Keeper logo there. That could be on a shirt one of these days if I can ever get that worked out because I need merch so I can raise funds for this, that, and the other so I can do everything I need to do so I can start keeping my promises and be in shape and look good for Warrior Fest because my fat carcass has to be down to 225 and I'm 45 years old and losing weight ain't easy when you get old. So no, okay, this is weird. This is weird by my standards. Okay. I did this sarcastic thing on his Spreaker channel on I think it was Hillbilly Highway or whatever it was. We were talking about the Rolling Stones. Okay, we were talking about the Rolling Stones and God. My favorite Rolling Stones song is Honky Tonk Women. Okay, that awesome tune. Love it. Great. No, there's a song called Start Me Up. Okay. One day I was sitting there and I just had this weird waking dream in my mind. It would be like, what if they said just because they're crazy as hell and old as dirt like that, it would just be the ultimate statement. What if they okay, so if you Mick Jagger's like, if you stop me up, I never stop. And then they just all simultaneously drop dead on stage. As soon as he says that, if you stop me up, I never stop. Dead. They just all drop dead right on stage right there. I wrote that on his I made that comment on his Spreaker page. He's like, you need Jesus, dude. You so need Jesus. And I'm like, yeah. Like, dead. They all just drop dead as soon as Mick Jagger sang that part, I don't know where that came from. J-Dub said he was rolling he was rolling on the floor laughing when I made the comment. So it's like, yeah, that's for you, J-Dub. There you go. I did that for you because I love you. Oh, and tell Mariah said moist, peak moist. There you go. Okay, let's get all right. Let's get Pete on here. Let's see if I can figure out. Oh, never mind. There he is.
Hi, I have now heard you sing, and I no longer fear death.
That's good. I did that for you, buddy. I did that for you.
I thought you did that for J-Dub.
Well, I did that for both of you because I love you.
If Mariah's listening, moist.
We're
both going to hell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna be laughing the whole way down.
Oh yeah, sounds like a ride.
Oh yeah. All right, let's get to talking about. Let me get to my private chat so I can get these questions up so we can talk about stuff. Now, we're not going to talk politics because you are, in fact, on active duty. So Yeah, we're just going to leave politics out of it because I mean they literally had this thing where they marched some Democratic politician congressman marched a whole bunch of like a whole platoon down to a Republican's office just to make a stink and use them as a prop, and it's like no, that's not how to quote the old chick from the Geico commercial. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Okay. All right. So let me get to my first question. What is your current? Okay, you're in Korea.
I'm
Okay.
in South Korea. It's an important
Oh,
distinction.
South Korea. That's true. I have two cousins adopted from South Korea, and they say Korea because they want it to be united. Yada, yada. But yes, you are in South Korea. If
Yeah, if
you
I
were
was in
North
North
Korea,
Korea, it'd be a very different interview right now. There'd probably be a
oh
gun to my
yeah,
head. I'm like, I'm loving it here.
yeah,
So,
and
you
you're
know,
you're blinking out Morse code. Help me, you dumb jackasses. Yeah, yeah. Do you Intel guys even know Morse code, or is that something you're required to know? You know, just in case you're in a situation like that. I mean, I'm just wondering.
no, I think I would probably in this situation just like, you
Well,
know,
no,
help everyone to read lips.
I jinxed it, which means you need to learn to blink Morse code. Okay, so that's my fault. I'm sorry. Oh, hey, everybody, we're rocking the GI shirt because I
Amazing
love my guy.
shirt. What a
Because
coincidence that you were wearing it today.
I love my guy. You know that I wear it now for stuff like this, and I also wear it whenever I want to do. I did a deadlift kettlebell superset, which is dumb and
By the way,
painful.
I would like to point out that I posted 2 pictures of you to my page.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now the one where you're getting drunk, everyone's like, "Oh, is that
Mm-hmm.
the guy who writes this comic?" But of course, one where you're deadlifting, everyone's like, "That's clearly not him." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks." So,
I'm all about. That was the last picture I deadlift I did with shoes on. My powerlifting mentor now has me like all barefoot powerlifting hippie mode, where I only wear socks because yeah, it's an Arnold purist lifting thing, better stability, yada yada yada.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've started doing it barefoot, which means that
Mhm.
someday I will drop it on one or both of my feet. Just
You
guaranteed.
know, well, yeah. The key is to put it. You'll just call it a controlled drop. Yeah, I have that. The fear with the dumbbell is not the issue. The fear with the kettlebells. Oh, oh no 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 no. Those things. I have a pair of 70 pounders, and they're pure molten evil. And I don't do that barefoot. Well, no, I do a barefoot now, but starting out, I would never do 70-pound kettlebell swings barefoot. No, that was a terrifying thought because the visual of it getting dropped on my toe. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so you're in South Korea.
I am.
What
It's
is
beautiful.
That's cool. Now Korea, I mean, back when I was in the Corps from 94 to 98, I was with a MEU that was on standby. Like if things popped off, we were out the door in 24 hours, okay? Um, is it or is from what I understand, there's a couple things at play here. The first thing that's at play is are they still saber rattling for food? I mean, they're the only fat people in North Korea are Kim Jong Un and his generals. I mean, his sister's, she's rail thin, obviously, so she's yeah. But no, is there still a lot of saber rattling, and is it one of those things where you're like, yeah, shut up, I don't want to hear it, or is there genuine tension going on
No, it's actually pretty casual at the moment.
there?
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, who knows when that'll change? But
Oh yeah.
no, thankfully, no. This feels like a nice calm tour. Knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yeah.
no, I've not had any big sirens going off. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows
Mm-hmm.
what this year will bring? But so far so good.
Well, it's the classic, the new administration. It's like when the new unit comes in, they always get tested. You know what I'm saying? When they have the handoff, the right seat, left seat, right handoff, the new unit usually gets tested as soon as the old unit leaves, and that's what it feels like you might experience here in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, like from what I understand, there's like a mountainside where they've got a boatload of artillery pieces trained on Seoul, and from what I understand, a guy I knew who was in Korea, He said within 24 hours, Seoul would be leveled. So I've heard that, but I'm also thinking about. You remember when we went into East Germany right after the wall came down? What I learned in like Marine history class, military history class, when I first came into the Corps was half of those. Like they had a bunch of the Russians had a bunch of like tracked vehicles, like tanks and armored personnel carriers and stuff, right? Those APCs and those tanks were half of them were so in such disrepair they were literally rusted in place where they were just there for show at that point. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that would you say that could be this given North Korea's current level of readiness? Do you think are you hoping that's the case with all those artillery pieces in that mountainside, or do you think they are ready and you know what I'm saying?
I mean, sorry, water went down the wrong pipe.
Oh yeah.
Either that or Kim Jong Un poisoned me. I don't know. But I mean, I'm fascinated by North Korea. I definitely intend to dig into that with my comic. You know, just sort of like the parallel lies between North Korea and South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the specifics, I mean, from everything I know of North Korea, so much of it is just a facade, you know, and just presenting the idea of like we're a big scary nation, and it's just like, well, what's behind the curtain? Like, no, don't look behind that. Um, so obviously, for the sake of me not getting blown up, I certainly hope that it's not
Mm-hmm.
as serious as they pose it as.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think I deviate from in terms of the other people here and most people on Earth is out of curiosity, I kind of want to see North Korea. I mean, it's a fascinatingly weird little country.
Well, here's the thing. My thing is, I see that as like what East Germany was after it got opened up when the wall came down. It was just this absolute hellhole, and I see a humanitarian, but it's there is. We all know, like when I was in the Corps from '94 to '98. Again, we were the quick reaction force. We were out the door in 24 hours. We were on standby. They were in their 20th year of famine when I was in. Okay, it's now 2021. They've been in a famine for damn near a half a century. I foresee like we're going to need every humanitarian organization to descend on North Korea like a biblical horde of locusts to treat that country. I think all the it's like the VA, it's like the dark web, all the horror stories you've heard are true and you don't know the half of it. I just see like one of the top 2 to 3 humanitarian crises in human history in North Korea. I think it's going to be East Germany bad. I think it's going to be Rwanda bad. I think we're going to have to descend in there with all of the logistical and medical and mental health support that the human race can muster because these people are I just see these people as utterly beaten into submission, and to lift them out of that hell they're in, it's going to take a worldwide effort to do that. That's just what I'm thinking based on what I have seen over the years.
I mean, if that happened in my lifetime, I'd be happy. I mean, you brought up the
Mm-hmm.
Berlin Wall coming down.
Yeah,
I actually got to see the Berlin Wall come down. I was 3. My parents propped me up in front of the TV, and I was like, "No, I want to
nice.
watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." Like, "No, you're watching this tonight because you need to see history being made."
Mm-hmm.
So if I can
Mm-hmm.
say, I saw the Berlin Wall and the DMZ come down in one lifetime, that's a good lifetime, you know.
That's a damn good lifetime. That's a high quality ass lifetime. I'm gonna click this real quick. South Korea does a joint show of force every year, joined with the U.S. I was there when I was 17. So yeah, this has been going on forever. So yeah, just know you guys are going to be tested by Kim Jong Un. You know the North Korean Jabba the Hutt, basically. Yeah. No,
Oh, by the way,
I.
wait, real quick, shout out to Clarence Wagenfield.
Yeah, he's the one. He's lighting up the comments section. Mark my words, he is.
Thanks, Clarence.
Is it Chance Wagonfield? Chance, let me help you out. It's not Kermudjen. It's Curmudgeon. So curmudgeon. Yeah, that's yeah. So, but no, I have two cousins from South Korea, and well, one of them I think is still there for reasons that will, yeah. Who's a butt? Their chance. Who's a butt? Who are you calling a butt, dude? Seriously. Okay. Okay. Hear me well. I am about to be a published author, and I was a 6 speed. I was a sixth grade spelling champion. So I correct whoever I want. Hey, it's really a tie between the sixth grade spelling bee champion and soon to be published author. That I'm proud of them both, man. The other thing I'm most proud of was the fact that I helped my uncle build his walk-in cooler in his business when he had it. So yeah. Pete is a butt, but he is
Yeah.
lovable. I'm always worried about you, man, because you're that guy who's nice to everybody and everybody loves you, and I don't want you
Am
getting
I?
I don't want you getting burned out and turning into me because that's the last thing humanity needs, and humanity needs is another me. So okay,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not sure if this is gonna be the next question you're gonna ask, but
Mm,
for those of you who don't know and don't follow my comic, I used to be a drill sergeant, and I was in for a rude awakening when I got out of quarantine, and I moved into the barracks. Once again, barracks life. What?
oof.
And I live in the same building as about 25 of my old soldiers. So the whole, Pete's nice to everybody. Not everybody, and some of them are my neighbors now.
Well, you were okay. Let me just say it like this: you were probably more selective and diplomatic than I've ever been. Because I start
Eh,
out diplomatic. I start out the keyword start out, but when I don't feel like being diplomatic anymore, well, let's just say I turned into the bad guy that I wasn't Baghdad because that was my job to be the bad guy. And there are times I forget to leave that there, and sometimes it comes back home. And yeah, okay, throw me a list of like super cool factoids about South Korea that you learned since you've been here. Just give me the South Korea in a. Just give me the sales pitch, the tourist guide to South
Um,
Korea.
well, let's think. I know that 51% of the population, approximately 51% of the population, lives in Seoul. Let's see. It's pretty. I've done more research on North Korea since coming here than in South Korea, unfortunately.
For
Eh, eh,
obvious reasons, yeah.
I know, just pure curiosity.
Okay.
So I can tell you that North Korea has the second largest military on Earth. The largest military on Earth is South Korea. Um, I know all of the. Oh, that was a nice thing to say about Mickey. Um,
Oh yeah, he might lose some of his home cooking if he keeps that crap up.
let's see. In North Korea, just if you're ever bored, look up North Korean laws.
Hmm.
So this is gonna work its way into my comic. Is a sex and drinking orgy? If only. So far, just the drinking. Um, but in North Korea, it's illegal to smile on the anniversary of the first of the Kim
Kim
dynasty's his death.
Jong, wait, Kim
Um,
Jong, not Un. Who's the other?
Kim Jong Un's dad. Um, Again, I
I'm
haven't
old enough to
done
remember the jackass's name, but I just can't remember it right now.
the one with the goiter. Anyway, so July 8th, the anniversary of his death, and
Whoops.
yeah, no, trust me,
Now
if
I'm
I
gonna
ever get
grin
to
my
North Korea,
ass off on the. Now I'm gonna grin my ass off on the anniversary of his death, man. I fall prey to the forbidden fruit syndrome
so
so
just
damn hard.
July 8th, just don't look happy.
Oh,
Ooh,
I'm gonna be giddier to school. I'm gonna knock back at least 3 or 4 bangs. I'm gonna be. Yeah. Okay. July 8th. You said.
July 8th is the anniversary of his death.
Okay, July 8th. We're gonna have the hat. We're gonna do a podcast or something. We're gonna have smile for Kim Jong. What's his nuts? Yeah, we're literally just gonna call. We're gonna insult North Korea by calling him. We're gonna say smile on the anniversary of Kim Jong. What's his nuts' death. There you go.
Let's see. It is illegal to wear blue jeans.
Oh, I'm gonna wear blue
Um,
jeans. They're in
all
the
right.
washer
Oh,
right
I'm
now.
going to give you so much arsenal right now. It is punishable by death to watch an American movie, which is funny because Kim Jong Un's favorite movie was Friday the 13th. Not even Friday the 13th Part 4, the best one,
Mm-hmm.
the first one. The one with Jason's mom.
Now we know he's mentally defective. Oh, it's Kim Jong Il.
Kim Jong Il. Kim Jong Il. Yeah, Kim
Kim,
Jong Un's in office, right? Yeah, Kim Jong Un is the guy in charge now. Kim Jong Il was his dad, and then I think it was Kim Il Sung was his dad. But
gotcha,
Kim
yeah.
Jong Il's favorite movie was the first Friday the 13th. And again, there are much better Friday the 13th movies.
Hey, wait, hold on a second. My brain's the egg timer in my brain is on. Goose, Pimp, Carl. July 8th, we need to have a podcast where we insult the hell out of Kim Jong what's his nuts. We need to violate every last one of their damn laws, and we need to be cracked out on bangs doing it. We're gonna be giggling like idiots, wearing jeans, watching movies.
American movies.
American movies. We're gonna be watching American movies. We'll stream American movies. I want all the damn laws we can violate. We're gonna violate every last one of them. We're going to violate every last North Korean law on July 8th. It's happening, boy. Woo!
I have some bad news for you. Because if you, I know. So one law in North Korea that this is going to ruin your July 8th. Pot is legal. So you can't get high on July 8th unless you want to be truly North Korean, and then you'd get high on July 8th.
I'm confused now. I am so confused right now.
Pot is totally okay, but blue jeans are considered punishable by imprisonment. I just broke Mickey. I'm sorry. Oh no! Oh God! What am I? What just happened here?
I don't know.
We just swapped places. This is a Freaky Friday thing.
I know he's maybe he's getting the caffeine twitches or something really bad. He's that old guy that consumes. He's a veteran and he's old, so which means he automatically consumes dangerous amounts of caffeine. So maybe he's got a real bad twitch. I don't know.
I'm not I'm the same way.
I'm no better.
I've been up since 2 a.m. Korea time, and I have not had my coffee yet. So I may just like face plant during this interview.
You've not had it
open yet.
Oh,
I'm meeting in the chow hall again. It's exciting.
Well, are you not allowed to have like a coffee pot in your room or what?
We are. I don't know where I'd put it. I mean, this room is the size of an elevator. Like, I've got space for my big fancy mural for Comic-Con that haven't happened yet.
Okay. Wow. So you can be high on July 8th in North Korea, but you can't wear jeans.
Yep, and you can't smile, which is bad because I mean, like, you'd be like, if you're really high and enjoying yourself, you're like, yep.
It's a setup. It's a setup to kill people.
No, I never thought about it that way, dude.
That's devious, dude.
Exactly.
If you're high, once you get past the paranoid phase, you're giggling like, oh, that's some population control tactics right there, dude.
And to answer your question, yes, I've had plenty of soju, far too much.
Wow, that is some sneaky, underhanded behavior, dude. Wow. I mean, wow. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, you just connected those dots,
dude. That's just wrong, dude. That is so wrong. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna private chat and message me every North Korean law you can find about July 8th, and we're just gonna have a weekly North Korean law segment that we're gonna break on July 8th.
You're gonna Caligula party that up, minus the pot, obviously, because that's what Kim Jong Un would want.
Yeah. So our mission is to piss off Kim Jong Un to the point where he strokes out, and as fat as he is, that won't be a problem. So,
yeah, beware. I've heard his sister's even scarier.
Oh, I've heard his sister,
and she's in good shape.
Oh,
like she has been training to be a dictator. And that's kind of progressive. As the Onion pointed out.
Well, the problem, I would think she would look down on her brother for being basically a Jabba the Hutt Teletubby, and like, I am so replacing this guy, like,
It feels very Game of Thrones up there. Yeah, it's everyone's trying to get the throne.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, you got to figure out which the two of them are killing generals that are sympathetic to the other. Now you got to wonder. You see what I'm saying?
It's you know what it's very accessible because what siblings aren't always in a rival with each other. So in a way it's very personable. Like if it just imagine if like you and your siblings were fighting over the worst country on earth. You'd constantly be like it's like the camera's on, love you, and then behind the scenes try to usurp them.
Yeah. No, I mean it's sibling rivalry taken to the most violent and militaristic extent possible. So yeah, that's actually kind of scary, and it's like you almost have to wonder if it's the most elaborate game of good cop, bad cop ever, or if it is
Who's the good
legitimate.
cop in that scenario?
Okay. Bad cop, psychotic cop, lesser, slightly less psychotic one than the other. Yeah, it's just it's scary to ponder because you intel guys take us to places of paranoia that we did like that. Like you almost need Willie Nelson pot brownies to properly appreciate, and then you see stuff like this, and it's like, oh wow, I'm still not. And you intel guys will literally just come out and say you're still not paranoid enough, and I'm like,
I won't tell you that. I'll tell you if anything, the world is much more boring than you think it is, which is why we have things like podcasts and comics to entertain ourselves. And soju, don't forget soju.
Yeah, soju. I mean, tell me about soju. Just
It
give.
is a fickle mistress. Whereas
Mhm.
most alcohol you drink, it's very honest with you and says you're going to get hungover tomorrow. Like, okay, cool. You drink soju, and it's like, oh man, this is like flavored water. Okay, cool. I'll just keep. You know what? Like, just give me more. I'll drink. Oh yeah, the next morning, yeah, your head is split open and your brain's trying to escape the continent.
Mhm.
So I mean, worst country on earth because San Francisco is not a country. Okay. Um,
That, that's a true statement right there, dude.
but yeah, so soju is just send Seth Rogen and James. No, we saw how that turned out the first time, and it was a bad movie. Chance. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the interview. There, that is the hill I'll
Well,
die on.
here's the thing: Seth Rogen and James Franco, they are they are stoner typecast. They can never do anything other than stoner movies ever.
Actually, what bothered me about the interview, I thought James Franco. Well, the biggest thing was James Franco's performance was so bad.
Mhm.
If James Franco is watching, I'm sorry, man. You made poor choices. Every gesture was just over the top. I was like, "You're taking me out
Mhm.
of the movie here," and I wanted to love that movie because North Korea hated it. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
and but for my money, Team America: World Police. That's my North Korea movie.
okay. Wait. So we need Carl, Pimp, Goose. We need Team America, World Police for July 8th. We need the interview for July 8th. We need to find all the movies that North Korea hates for July 8th, and we need to make a marathon. Okay.
The Red Dawn remake.
Oh,
Yep.
wait, is that out yet? I haven't.
Oh no! All right, it came out and made just this much of a dent in the box office.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about the Red Dawn remake, which I haven't even seen, is that originally it was going to be that China invaded America,
Mm-hmm.
which is a genuine like threat because they could potentially create some havoc.
Yeah.
But then they realized, wait a minute, there are over a billion Chinese moviegoers, and we don't want to alienate them. So they didn't do any reshoots or anything. They digitally changed all the flags from the Chinese flag to the North Korean flag, and like, whoo, we avoided alienating anyone. And then the movie tanked, and no one remembers it. But the
All
point is,
right.
if you want to piss off North Korea, there is another anti-North Korea movie out there, and that's the not even seen by anyone Red
Red
Dawn
Dawn
remake.
remake. Okay, Red Dawn remake is on the list. There you go. So now we got to find another. uh, Pterodactyl. God bless him. Yeah. Okay. So any other? Okay. We talked about South Korea a little bit. You got anything more about South Korea?
The food is really, really good. Like I've had South Korean food in America, and it's not as
Mm.
good in America.
Well, it's Americanized. So any
Yeah.
food that's Americanized, I'm going to say it's bland as hell. The Jamaican food joint I go to over here is run by a genuine Jamaican, and their hot curry is Americanized, bland curry for Americans. Oh yeah, when he makes me the Jamaican stuff, I flirt with my freaking internal organs being liquefied. I know Korean food is, yeah, legit hot Korean food will liquefy American internal organs. That's just
Oh,
how it works.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly. That and Thai food. But yeah, I would, yeah,
I would love to get to Thailand. Get real Thai food.
real Thai food. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fruit punch. Chance said fruit punch soju. Oh, ooh.
That
Ugh.
sounds dangerous. Or
Oh, it is.
Kool-Aid soju. Oh.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna
soju is
tell.
a sometimes drink, everybody.
Mhm. Hey, when I spent my first 4 years in the Marine Corps. I had this corporal. He told me a story. I don't know. They do it in South Korea. You can admit it or you can allude to it if it was true. In Japan, they had this drink called a rainbow. It was laced with pure opium. He said he drank. He said you're only allowed to. The bartender said you're only allowed to drink 2 of them an hour, right? So,
I feel like one would be enough.
but no, I'm saying you were legally only allowed 2 an hour. He said he drank 2 of them between 7 and 8 p.m. on a Friday night. He said the next thing he remembers is waking up Monday morning for formation. Okay.
I don't think I would fuck around. Oh, I don't think I would mess around with that.
Mess
Mess
or
around.
screw. There you go.
I
Mess or
said
screw.
mess.
There you go. Mess. Don't mess around. So yeah, do they have okay? Blink twice for yes and 3 times for no, because we got to start teaching you Morse code anyways. You know, for when you get captured by the by Kim Jong Un or Kim Jong what's his nuts. You know, in retaliation for me starting the violate every North Korean law on the planet on July 8th day on July 8th. You know, so when they capture you to retaliate against me, you got to learn the Morse code by blinking. So blink twice for yes and blink. No, you got to blink both eyes twice for yes and 3 times for no.
All right, so twice for yes, 3 times for no.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, start asking me questions, I guess.
Is there any kind of hallucinogen like or like what I don't even know what you'd call opium, but you know, is there anything potent like that in the soju that you're not allowed
No,
to?
no. We get UAs, so no. I'm still active duty. Is there a part of South Korea where you could get those drinks? Probably, but I don't need that in my life. I need my paycheck.
Well, here's what I'll say. Go once right before you're about to come back to America, just so you can say you went once and have it set up to where, okay, as soon as I drink this, you're just going to rush my ass back to the barracks and stuff me in my bed so I don't do it, and ratchet strap me to the bed so I don't do anything stupid, you know.
I guarantee you, if that Goofus and Gallant scenario were to happen, I would wake up and be like, oh, what did I do 3 days ago? Okay, I'll get the formation. It's like, all right, the following
Mhm.
people have to pee in a cup today. Barlow, and like, oh, come on.
Yeah, that would be a rotten luck, dude. That would
Yeah,
be a rotten luck.
I don't need that in my life.
Oh yeah. So okay. See, we got the South Korean. Is there anything else about South Korea you want to throw out there and say some positive stuff about South Korea?
I need to learn more about South Korea. Maybe next time I'm on
Oh,
your show, I'll have a whole bunch of
okay.
fun facts.
We'll throw it. We'll get you on here back soon because we'll eventually segue into the writing we're gonna be doing together to kind of help veterans write their stuff. Okay, because we're going to adhere to Murphy's Law of Combat Operations that states every plan, no plan ever survives first contact. So we're going to give the veteran community a plan to blow completely to hell. Or at least give them that. That way they can improvise off of that, so they have something to start with. Okay. Okay. North Korea. What else what do you all want to share that you know about North Korea? Besides all the laws we're going to violate on July 8th.
I know that for a time, there was so few like imports into North Korea that
Mhm.
they had to use human poop as fertilizer. I bet that smelled amazing.
I've heard that. I've heard that. I heard that when I was still in back in from '94 to '98. So yeah, I'm that ancient. But yeah, I heard that. I heard there have been like more than you would expect assassination attempts on Kim. I know. I'm pretty sure they were taking pot shots at Kim Jong Il. Call sign what's his nuts. Um, but I've heard they've been taking some pot shots at too. So
I I don't know, unfortunately.
well, if you find out, let me know what you can tell us. Obviously,
Yeah,
can are authorized to tell. Yeah, and then we'll discuss the juicy stuff offline, just to wow. So we can create a
I
bunch
have
of
nothing juicy to tell you. I'm sorry, man.
not right now. No, no, no. We'll talk. We'll get some juicy stuff down the line, and we'll turn them all into inside jokes on the show. It'll be great. Okay, let's see what do we got next for another question. My phone keeps shutting off because it does what it wants. Okay. Okay, we can't talk politics in the purest Democrat, Republican, libertarian, yada 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 sense, but how do you feel about talking about military politics, like how like I'll throw something out there to kind of give you an idea. When I was in Baghdad, I wrote about it in the book about okay, the thing that ever since World War II, ever since the Nuremberg trials, and yeah, I was awake during history class then. Once the I was just following orders thing that the German generals kept reiterating. It's a good and a bad thing. It's good because now American military policy is that you have to question orders. You have to question the validity, the lawfulness of the order, or you will be in a cell in Leavenworth next to the guy you were dumb enough to follow an unlawful order, right? And when I was in Baghdad, what I learned is Chance, hey, good talking to you, man. Good talk to you. Glad you like what you're hearing. Keep on coming back, and I'll keep providing, you know, caffeine induced, stimulant, veteran lunacy induced content because that's my jam. That's my superpower. There you go. Okay, so the problem with it is it turned us into a military full of busybodies who was all up in it. The entire deployment is usually spent now. Everybody's getting dirt on everybody they don't like, and then they're storing it up till the end of the deployment. Where you've heard of a 15-6, right?
No.
It's a 2 week. It's an investigation where they can keep the unit in country 2 weeks longer than what they're supposed to be kept in country because of the incident that occurred with two juvenile murders and an incident that caused an investigation as well as the investigation itself. Everybody who had every last bit of blackmail material on everybody else was threatening each other and blackmailing each other with it, trying to figure out who said what to protect themselves and burn the other person they didn't like. Okay, that's the downside of the Nuremberg trials effect on the military is everybody's got blackmail material on everybody else, and everybody's talking behind closed doors. Everybody's talking on the low. Oh, do you see what he did? He violated this. Oh, we're gonna screw him in the way that's absolutely as unpleasurable as possible.
Well, I mean, I guess for my own contribution to that subject, when I was a drill sergeant, I repeatedly told people don't make enemies at this level because the military is small, and then you break it down even
Mm-hmm,
further. You've got the
mm-hmm,
military, which is about 1% of America's population.
mm-hmm,
And then you've got the army. We are the biggest branch, but we are still
mm-hmm,
just one of the branches. And then you
mm-hmm,
break it down into your MOS, and then you break it down into your duty station. And it's like, all right, if
mm-hmm,
you make enemies, I mean, obviously, I don't care if you like everyone. I don't like a lot of my coworkers. That's just
mm-hmm.
gonna happen. But you have to have that professional respect because guess what? They
Yeah.
will come back to haunt you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as evidenced by the fact that again, I think I figured out like I never intended to be a sadistic drill sergeant. I mean, my job was to discipline the soldiers.
Yeah.
but never to abuse that power. And thankfully, it has benefited. Yeah, it's kind of awkward that I work with my former soldiers that I had when I was a drill sergeant, but I
Mhm.
mean, it's. I think that there's the level of respect. It's like eventually you just kind of have to put aside the awkward and be like, okay, we're coworkers now, so
Yeah.
let's just get something done. Um,
Do they ever still
so
have that weird respect for you? You're like, dude, you do realize I'm not wearing the
I
smoking
have
cap,
been
right?
called a drill sergeant since coming here. Yeah. So it's that's not like I've told someone before I went from drill sergeant to chill sergeant, because it's just like when I was a drill sergeant, if you called me sergeant, I would lose my cool, I would drop you, I would make your life a living hell for about 30 seconds. And now it's like drill sergeant, I mean sergeant, like whatever, I don't care, just carry on.
Is it almost like a bipolar kind of an attitude that they think you have? Are they looking at you like, wait a minute, he can't smoke me? What? Is it
Well, I
this
can still
weird?
smoke them. I just it's a
Well,
different,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I need to get down with them. I mean,
Hmm.
everyone's for the most part, it's been pretty cool,
Hmm.
um, which I appreciate because I'm stuck with them for a year. Excuse me.
Exactly. Well, and you
Um,
never know when you might be stuck with them again. You never know. Yeah.
yeah, it's again, the military is not the place to make enemies. I
Hmm.
mean, if there's ever a time in your life to make enemies, do that in high school when like you're about to like graduate and never see these people ever again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the military, I mean, like you will bump into these people 7 or 8 times before either of you ETS.
Right.
And especially considering that, like, you brought up combat zones.
Hmm.
Do you want to make enemies with someone whose life you might be in their hands someday? I mean, like, if you're a good soldier, obviously you're going to put pettiness aside, but
Hmm.
I'd rather not chance it.
Well, here's the thing. Now, okay. You can be a good soldier, but still make an enemy because in the process of you doing the right thing, you're going to make somebody else look bad. You see what I'm saying? Like in my book, I came out and outright stated that I knocked out the battalion commander, and nobody hated me for that. Nobody. She was that hated, loathed, despised, and held in and reviewed with contempt by everyone outside of the TIF of the the talk. There you go. But yeah, and here's the thing: I can say he or she because we've got this whole assumed gender thing. The assumption of gender, if you think about it from a writer standpoint, from a personal information security standpoint, is the most beautiful thing ever because we now live in the age of gender identification. So I can say she, but am I speaking of his or her gender biologically, or am I speaking of his or her gender uh, identification preference? Because you never know. So I can say she. Wait. What she are we talking about here, or what he are we talking about here? For me, from a writer standpoint, from an information security standpoint, this gender identification thing is the most beautiful thing ever as far as preserving people's identity because it's such a confusing thing. You're like, wait, what are we talking about here? Biological or preference? You see what I'm saying? So if we can confuse the hell out of people with that, that's going to be fun.
All right. Well, find the little things in life that make you happy.
Well, yeah, that and you can. It's like hiding in plain sight. You're like, wait, is that really that, or is it something else? Yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. So yeah, but no, but have you come across either are you coming across some that soap opera politics in you because my unit was an intern in an infant they worked in a prison in an internment facility that the stress level was off the charts because we had a all I'm going to say is we had an area where we kept high value. It was so bad. I actually tried to get some intel out of the guy about that area, and he's like, "I signed a non-disclosure agreement. Shut your cake hole. I can't talk about it. It's not even in the book. It's because I could get nothing. So that we had that because we were in that doing that mission. Our stress level is your mission exhibiting creating a level of stress for the unit on a level where it's like there is that kind of backbiting backdoor politics where it's like everybody's trying to get blackmail material on everybody else to store it up for the end in case something stupid happens. Is it? I think it. Yeah.
Thankfully, no. I've lucked out every duty station I've been at. There has been obviously, I would say more gripes with your coworkers than
Yeah.
flat out like North Korea style usurping of power.
Hmm.
Um, and if there is anything, I have been spared. Um, so no, it's like
Knock on wood.
yeah, knock on wood, of course. I would compare the military, and this kind of ties back into my comic, and then maybe segue to your book. Um,
Hmm.
what I would compare the military to more than anything is like The Office. It's definitely it feels more like a workplace comedy than it does a serious Saving Private Ryan style like drama.
Right.
Because it's
Right. Right.
just
Right.
it's a bunch of coworkers, just coming in for their less than 9 to 5 and more like a 5 to 17. Um,
So yeah.
and it's just sort of talking about your family, talking about what you did over the weekend, talking about annoying clients. And that's it's not expected. It was a nice surprise for me that the fact is
Hmm.
it really is a workplace sitcom more than anything. And I try to reflect that a little bit in my comics, where there's very little stakes. It's more just
Hmm.
like, what's the deal with that thing that we do?
Yeah. So it's more like The Office, where you're the most physically fit alcoholics who are really proficient with firearms, kind of a thing, right?
I would say that's one way to describe it. Memes have definitely done articulated the that, yeah.
Yeah. So you're the most physically fit alcoholics who are proficient with firearms in the most militarized place on the planet right now. But it's like The Office Space, but with all that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So okay. Let's see. What we're gonna. Let's. I hate this. I gotta start getting my phone because yeah, it's weird having a laptop. Granted, it's a bare bones, bare minimum laptop, but it's better than nothing, and it's I'm not losing anymore. Okay, we did the. Okay, let's talk about your next duty station. What do you have anything? Are you jockeying for that, or have you got that already worked out?
Already worked out. I'll just say that much. I can tell you
Yeah,
it's back in America, which I'm
yeah. There you go.
excited about. I love being abroad, but there's just little comforts that you kind of miss, like having a car, having an apartment, not having to adjust for time if you want to, FaceTime with your
Oh
friends and
yeah,
family. So
exactly.
um, I like that this is a set tour of
Hmm.
Korea. It's just 1 year. And then afterwards, it's kind of like, all right, return to status quo life. Status quo is underrated.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so excited about being back in America again. Plus, I just get to physically see friends and family. Here, I
Yeah.
mean, especially in an era of COVID,
Oh yeah.
it's like, well, I'll see you in a year.
Hmm.
You know,
Are you guys really hardcore on the COVID? Are you guys having conversations about because for okay, here's for me. I have to wear a mask like when I go to the VA hospital, mind you, and they kind of they put a sign out that says you have to wear a mask at the gym, and nobody wears it. Well, people do, but people don't. And it's here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. I'm gonna share. God God help you. I am going to do what I do best. I bludgeoned people to death with automotive analogies, and you can look it up once. There's this thing called. It's on your
part
old
of the reason
automobile.
why we love you.
So there's this thing called an EGR valve, exhaust gas recirculation. Um, and what it does, what it used to do what it would do on older vehicles, it would reroute some of the exhaust gas back into the cylinders to burn it back, some of the unburnt stuff back up to meet emission standards, yada yada yada. But it was really bad for the engine. It really was. It was nasty as hell. When you wear a mask, it's the same principle, really. Oh, it's not that much. Here's the thing: it causes problems just because it's not that much for as far as how long, however long we're in the pandemic. That's fine. But long term, beyond that, we're not looking at that to see what kind of medical problems that might cause. That's why I don't wear it because I'm diabetic. My immune system is already compromised, and I can't afford to compromise it just to keep these mask Nazis happy. Like Ernst Rahm would be proud of the mask Nazis up at the VA hospital that I go to. Man, I mean, they are just like if it's like too close to the bottom of your nose, they are correcting you, or they're giving you a class, treating you like you're an idiot private, the whole nine. What kind of conversations are you guys? You have your official conversations, and then you have your after the formation
Well,
conversations.
that's again, like I get again, politics are very subjective, but again, you're asking me basically to say what I would say after my commanding officers tell me to do something. I'm not comfortable, in that kind of scenario. I will tell
Oh,
you
I
this
got you.
much. I look forward to not wearing face masks anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I'm lucky enough that I got vaccinated 2 days ago.
Hmm. That's
So
good.
I'll say this much and only this much, which is
Hmm.
like everyone else on Earth, I'm very excited for this to be just a footnote in history and then move on with
Yeah.
the rest of our lives.
Right. Here's the thing. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm trying to find that line. Me being me. I'm always pushing the limit, so I got to find out where the limit is. I apologize. I would never want to
Oh,
make you
you're
feel
good.
uncomfortable.
I didn't think you were intending to do that. But I mean,
No.
again, there is that line.
Yeah. No, what I would say is I'm willing to bet there is the official conversation, and then there's the realistic conversation when the dog and pony
Well, that's
show's over.
everything in the military, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and I think in a very, hopefully, work appropriate sort of way. I try to convey that in my comic, especially if you read the
Hmm.
comics when Lowe was a drill sergeant.
Hmm.
I mean, because there's the face you present to your soldiers, and
Hmm.
then there's the voice in the back of your head saying, "This just feels silly,"
Yeah.
um, and just sort of like I tried to make sure that Lowe and the other drill sergeant characters were the butt of the joke as often as the junior enlisted soldiers were.
Yeah.
Um, because
Hmm.
again, it's just like there are all those times when you're up there and you're just at a 10 and you're just da 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 da
Hmm.
da.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
one of the other drill sergeants taps you on the shoulder and goes, "Actually, you're incorrect." Well, I
Yeah.
was still just trying to make a point. Um, so just if anything, to show a little bit of the humanity to being a service member,
We need
because,
that
well, yeah,
desperately.
I love the human aspect of being in the military because before enlisting, I had this idea of service members, and it was always this very serious, very professional.
Hmm.
Or either that, or it was
Hmm.
someone who was like, essentially Tom Berenger in Platoon, the crazy person.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you get to the military, and you're like, wow, a lot more people play Dungeons and Dragons than I thought.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and it's like a lot more. You'll be like on a army base, and you see people running on playing Pokemon Go. Um,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, there's this sort of this humanity. There's obviously a
Yeah.
lot of flaws, a lot of funny
Hmm.
flaws. And that's one of my
Right.
favorite things about being in the army, and my favorite reasons why I do my comic is just okay.
Hmm.
This is what life is kind of like behind the closed doors, and
Hmm.
it's not an undermine or leadership sort of way. Which is it's funny if you do want to talk about like that subject. Obviously, one of my biggest inspirations is Beetle Bailey.
Go for it.
And Mort Walker. If you read Beetle Bailey, and everyone has just flipping through the
Hmm.
newspapers. If you're old enough to
Hmm.
remember newspapers, Beetle Bailey is the most family friendly, goofy
Hmm.
little comic strip about just these soldiers who never deployed. They're never touched by war. It's just garrison life.
Hmm.
But when the comic strip first launched, it was very controversial because it
Hmm.
made officers look goofy. It made
Hmm.
non-commissioned officers look goofy. And
Hmm.
if you, but the point that they're kind of missing is everyone looks goofy in this comic, but they were afraid if they ran it in stars and stripes that it
Hmm.
would be considered subversive. So
Oh yeah.
again, it's all subjective. It's all based on history, I guess.
When I was downrange, when I was in, well, actually, when I was in the prison specifically, we had nothing but Beetle Bailey comics in the Stars and Stripes. That it was those two. The two things I cued in on the most was the Beetle Bailey comics and the crypto quote. I was all about the crypto quote because it
I
kept my
was
brain.
oh man, I love that. That kept me very busy in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Oh, that's the only thing that saved me because it was NCOs chewing me out for traumatizing detainees and juveniles calling me fat donkey. That was all. That was all. Yeah, they called me fat donkey. I said I was your father, and I can't remember how I said I was having sex with their mother, and that sent them that sent them into the stratosphere with rage. So yeah, I would say I'm your father, and I can't. Anio Buck is Arabic for I'm your father. I cannot remember how I said I was having sex with your mother. That
Well, if you ever need to dub Empire Strikes Back, you got that quote.
oh yeah, yeah. I wish I'd have learned that in Arabic. I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. That was the only thing that kept me sane. For like I'd have like 10, 15 minutes in the itty bitty guard shack, when I'd have detainees begging me for cigarettes and NCOs, you need to get just a minute, you know. But yeah, that was Beetle Bailey. That's a horrible thing. Once you've been downrange, garrison life is a fate worse than death because they tried to garrisonify the war zone by having sergeants major and first sergeants running around with radar guns chasing people all over the post for speeding and frickin' and not wearing their PT belts. And it's like, and then when you get back, you if you've been downrange, you're like, this is a fate worse than death. This is yeah.
Well, for me, the biggest thing about garrison life was how bored I was. Like, I mean, when you're in Afghanistan or whenever you're in a combat zone, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the calendar up. It's like I had this many days until I'm back in America. Like, oh, I can't wait to get back to America. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get back to America, like, I am so bored. I mean, like, I
Yeah.
remember the first real weekend I had. I did nothing that Sunday. I think
Mm-hmm.
I was just like watching movies in my barracks room, and I was like, "You did nothing today," which is healthy to do from time to time. But I was like,
Yeah.
how do people just do this all the time? Of course, I've had, like 8 years of experience doing that now. But at the time, I was like, what am I doing with my life? Because in Afghanistan, you don't get weekends off, you don't get holidays off. So it's just a year straight of working, and so that boredom was just crushing. It was like, oh God, is this what I have to look? Deploy me again?
Oh yeah, I have the deployment itch right. I had a hookup right before Christmas, and whenever I hook up with it, well, I'll hook up, we'll break up, and then I'll get the deployment itch something off. Like, get me out of here. I want to go. I wanted to just airdrop me into North Korea. I don't care. No. For me, I started out like the first month looking at the calendar, and then it's like, no, forget that. It just became I'd go to the chow hall and whatever the decorations for whatever holiday it was supposed to be. Oh, okay, that's what time of year it is. You'd go from Memorial Day through East. You go to Easter, you'd go to Memorial Day, and you're like, oh, okay, it's another. And you just mark your time by the decorations that were to the child. 4th of July. Oh, okay, we're about 6 months out. Yeah, and then you get home and it's like you you fall off a cliff and you get home and it's like no, this isn't exciting enough. This isn't the mission where you don't sleep before the mission because you're going down through like MSR, like what MSR Tampa was in '03. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
I
like it.
lucked out. I can definitely see why people would get messed up from redeployment life.
Mhm.
For me, I just drank too much and watched too much Netflix.
Yeah,
So, slightly healthier.
slightly. Well, it's a little less dangerous, but it's one of those things where once you get home, like everything is boring. Everybody is like, "You're not the person I trusted downrange. Get away from me." You know what I'm saying? And I
Oh, yeah.
actually,
I was gonna say, one tough thing about deploying, is I got really close knit with my section while I was deployed, as you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we came back, and most of them PCS'd right away, and I was stuck there for
Mm-hmm.
another year. So yeah, when you get the new soldiers in your section, you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Who
not
are you?
my family.
No.
It's just like, who are these strangers in my section? So the fact that I was one of the last remaining ones there, it was just like, it's like I'm not gonna get too attached to any of you because it's just like
Right.
you're not my bad buddies. You're not
Yeah.
my true bad buddies.
Yeah. And you turn into that curmudgeon because you start telling war stories about what you went through with your real friends, and they look at you like you're like the crazy crotchety old vet. Or there's this one guy from this one movie. It was called oh, it's a football movie. Okay, it was in like Wyoming or something, and there was this one. It was a high school football movie, and there's this one dude it was pathetic. He was like 30, 35 years old, and he would still come to the high school parties in his leather jacket, feeling like he was still a badass. And it's like, oh, these people are so. They were all like, he is so pathetic. You run the risk of becoming that guy who just who becomes the has been, that
Yeah.
doesn't want to come to terms with the fact that he's a has been. You know. So yeah, that's what you got to worry about as a veteran too. You become that caricature. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's why God invented the VFW so that all of those people could get together in one place and there's beer.
Oh yeah,
That's not a knock.
yeah.
VFWs are wonderful. That's not a knock on them.
Oh no, no, no. VFW and American Legion. American Legion is great too because like where I live, when I was up in Wisconsin, they had this place called Camp American Legion. You go up there once, you'll be like, I'm going to retire here. I don't care if I get 10 feet of snow every year and I have to dig my way out with a thermite grenade just to get through the ice through
I'm from the
the.
Midwest. I'm used to it.
Oh
Pogues.
yeah.
Pogan proud. Bam.
Hey, Clark, check it out. It's Pogs. You're a grunt. I know. Now
You
that
can
I
spell
not.
Bobbins too. Two B's.
Oh, two B's, bro. Two B's. Learn how to spell. The champion sixth grade speller and soon to be published author is
Okay.
telling you need to learn how to spell. Anyways, so okay.
There we go. I'm pointing at you now. I got the mirror effect.
So yeah. Okay, let's transition here. Let's transition. I got to get better at this. I really do.
No, you're good, man.
I want to, yeah. Okay. We know you won't be able to make it to Warrior Fest in November, so we're gonna have to plan for the next Warrior Fest.
Oh, yeah, I'm making all my 2022 plans. So that is etched in there right now.
Okay. So, how are you feeling about, because I might road trip it to Warrior Fest this year, simply because if I get my or I'll simply all I'll say is I'm going to be towing Smokezilla with me, depending on how everything plays
You'll
out.
be very popular at Warrior Fest if you do that.
Yeah, Smokezilla is going to be this monstrosity that can almost withstand a freaking artillery hit. You know what I'm saying? It could almost survive an artillery round. Yeah. Alexander Clark. Yeah, we know that. We definitely know that. But we love you anyways. Alexander Clark is the guy who's going to be walking the entire Appalachian Trail.
Respect.
The
Awesome.
whole thing. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can scare up a few bucks. Hopefully the stimmy will get here. I'll get him some grub. I'll try to do some cooking for him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, at the very least, I got a killer little Amish grocery store / deli down the road. If worst comes to worst, I'll just get him the biggest friggin' double meat Reuben I can get my hands on. I'll get him a lunch bag, and that'll tide him over. No, check it out. Warrior Fest 2022. We're definitely going to plan for that. But no, what have you been hearing about the idea that they're talking about you actually have to have a little card, you can't get on a plane unless you've got a COVID negative test or a vaccine or something like that.
I can't speak on the civilian sector, obviously. I haven't been a civilian in 11 years. I do know, like, I can tell you, like, what my flight to Korea was like. I definitely got my nasal passages cleared out a little bit. But like, for us to come to Korea, to come to a military installation in Korea, I had to get tested before I signed out on leave. I got tested as soon as I arrived in country. I got put in quarantine for 2 weeks, and then I
Mhm.
got tested again. Not all tests are created equal. That first one was a soldier's first time doing it. It was like this little
Mhm.
PFC, and it was just like, I'm gonna leave this up there for 15 seconds. So again, to maintain my solid neutrality on all this. Um, I'm hopeful that by 2022, when we're doing Warrior Fest, I mean, it's just gonna be like the I got vaccinated card. That's gonna be something you keep in a scrapbook.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I got vaccinated. This is the memory.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say from the military perspective, it's probably less of a deal for us because I mean we got so vaccinated for everything. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I basically have a tattoo for all the vaccines we got before we went to
Mhm.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So it's like if people out there are like, I'm scared of needles, like suck it up.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just like,
I've got my opinions on the shot. I've got my opinions on. I mean, I'll just say it like this: between people ignoring the EGR valve principle, that makes me nervous. And I guess I'm just not impressed with the fact that we're at the 1 year anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. So the only thing that this has really done for me is make me realize how much of an antisocial hermit like curmudgeon that I am, because it's like you can't be in society. And like, don't threaten me with a good time, dude. As long as I can hit the gym, get groceries, and get gas, I don't care if any of you exist. I could literally sit on my back porch and just watch the world burn and be like, I'm not going to clean that up. It's all you. I'm done. I'm done cleaning up messes like that. Oh, I got April Miller. Is the vaccine optional or mandatory for?
right now it's optional. I opted for it because you know what, I got loved ones that are at risk, and I'd like to not get them sick. The side effects I've experienced so far is my arm is kind of sore. I got really bad heartburn the first time I ate a meal after getting vaccinated, and the only one I didn't those are fine. I was gonna say when it comes to heartburn, I mean I'm in my
Mhm,
30s. That's just gonna happen sometimes. The one I don't like because I didn't actually even wind up going to work yesterday.
mhm,
Thankfully I talked to a coworker that they were fine with it. Is I could not sleep. Like I'm working night shift. Night shift while I'm in Korea. As soon as I get adjusted to the time change, it's like okay, now
mhm,
get unadjusted. So yeah, yesterday I got off work and I couldn't sleep for love or money or melatonin.
mhm.
And it was like, is this a side effect? Again, like the heartburn, it may be a pre-existing condition. I've never been a very good sleeper.
Right.
So far so good. And
Mhm.
so if you're scared, I got the Johnson and Johnson. I think it's the one shot. Um, and so far I haven't sprouted a third arm.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say a few things to you, and now that we got it on the podcast, we can have it like official. First of all, I don't know why. Speaking of heartburn, check out a diet called Blood Types, Body Types, and You by a guy named Joseph Cristiano. It has you eating for your blood type. It helped me. I originally got it just to get rid of. I had like lava level acid reflux. That cured it. It was great. Here's my problem with Johnson and Johnson. I'm an Iraqi freedom veteran. My father's a Vietnam veteran. He told me that Johnson and Johnson they produced Agent Orange. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Johnson and Johnson
All
for
right, well, did
no
not
no no
mean to trigger you.
no. It's good. It's good though. It's cool that we get to just throw stuff like this out there to get conversations started. So I'm all about starting conversations. You're like, I did not know that. So triggering doesn't mean a damn thing to me. Is if it'll get conversations going and it'll get people talking about stuff and it'll get questions answered and stuff like that. I have no problem starting conversations. The other thing, this is weird. When I was in Iraq, I would eat. They had Pop Tarts. It was the Pop Tarts, and it was these little packets of Gatorade. They let them sit outside. I literally had to take one of those little 2-pound hammers and pound. And this is in the book. I had to pound on the Gatorade just to turn it back into powder because it was a solid chunk. You literally had to pound on it for a couple of minutes so the bag almost ripped up when you're pounding on it so hard just to get it to turn back into powder. I can't look at Gatorade powder or Pop Tarts without getting raging acid reflux. I just look at them and I get raging acid reflux. Oh, the other thing that really to this day, remember when were you? Did they have a no explode downrange when you were downrange?
If we did, I don't think I ever used it.
Dude, you're only supposed to have like 2 to 3 scoops of those in one day.
Oh, I don't do pre-workouts now.
Oh, I did. I did it when we were running convoy ops just to keep me awake and to work out. I look at no explode and my bowels want to immediately involuntarily evacuate. I can't to this day. I can't touch Pop Tarts, Gatorade powder, or no explode because my bowels are like no, nope. I don't know why. It's just my body's like no, you ain't touching that. I mean, and the Pop Tarts you could have bashed somebody's skull in with it. They were so hard.
Well,
You know.
Pop-Tarts for me and I have a complicated relationship because prior to joining the army, I was really, really broke, in college. And
Mhm,
so grocery shopping for me was finding loose change and surviving on the strawberry Pop-Tarts at
mhm.
the vending machine that was outside my building.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to like Pop-Tarts again. And even now I'm like, what was the big deal about these things?
Survive.
As a kid they were awesome.
Dude, yeah, it was a survival mechanism, man. You had to survive, and Pop Tarts were your savior, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. Oh no, I learned that when I was up in Ohio, I took my 12-quart pressure cooker with me. We threw in a couple of little packages of ramen noodles in with everything else. They survived surprisingly well, and they tasted really good. I mean, really good. It's like because we threw in meat, we threw in vegetables, we threw in potatoes, and then it's like, the hell, I'm grabbing a couple of bags of not rotel of ramen noodles, ramen. Let that debate begin. And it's like, damn, these are good. They held up really well because like if you use lentil pasta in a pressure cooker, it will turn into goo like Slimer barfed all over everything.
That sounds very appetizing.
It tasted weird, but it was food and I was hungry. So yeah. My husband survived off PB&J for a long time.
I
Yeah.
have never eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Fun fact about me. I know.
Well, if you don't have one before you get back, I'll feed you one when you get home. How's that sound?
I'm allergic to peanuts, so I'm good.
Well, we'll do an almond substitute. There's almond
How
butter.
about
That's all.
Nutella and jelly? I can do Nutella and jelly. I've
Nutella
not
is
had a
just
reaction from Nutella. Oh, I love Nutella.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, yo, bring it.
yeah.
You know what else I like? Thanks to Afghanistan, Vegemite. Not even kidding. That thing that only Australians like. Maybe I was Australian in a past life, but I was deployed with Australians, and they of course had Vegemite, and I was like, "Man, I heard this is the grossest thing ever." And they're like, "Have you tried it?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, kind of green eggs and ham it. So I tried it. It was really good. And every time I find Vegemite, I buy it. Spread it on my toast.
Okay, so well, I'm gonna try to encourage you to do almond butter with the jelly. We'll do that, and I'll
I
also
I
have
will encourage you to try Vegemite at least once in your lifetime. Okay, I
okay,
saw the
okay.
life drain out of you.
No, no, I will. Okay, I'll see you. I'll see your Vegemite, and I'll when you come back, I'll make you. You'll eat. It's a Norwegian delicacy. It's called jelly. It's jelly and summer sausage. It's a big Midwest thing. It's
I've
the
actually been to
sweet.
Norway, so I'm not sure if I've tried
I
it.
gotta I gotta check out my Norwegian roots. If I find a good woman to marry, one of our honeymoon, like one week will be where she wants to go, the other week will be in Norway, and we'll be making we'll be making Norwegian in an igloo in a Norwegian outhouse love. You know what I'm saying? It'll be great.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been to Oslo. I didn't see many igloos, but it's a
I didn't
beautiful
mean.
city.
Oh no, I should have said igloo. It's like one of those Viking longhouses, dude. Those things were enormous.
I'm pretty sure I saw some of those, but to be fair, it may have been in a museum. So
Well, they still got them. They're just way up north, I think. I will. I'm going to go to Norway. Go check. Oh, go check out a show called New Scandinavian Cooking. It's mostly in Norway. Oh, if you ever wonder what, like if I ever like Zoom StreamYard or Zoom you from Norway, I said to hell that I'm going to Norway. So I'll just live there and I'll discover my Viking roots and run around crack. Oh, Rippets were the savior, according to Alexander Clark. So no,
Oh
no.
my God.
Oh,
And Rippets were banned on post. So I mean, if you could find like Rippets from like previous, I know. If you could find like the old Rippets, like I don't care how
who
expired they were. We were like, oh my God, all the Rippets. And then
who
when we,
is the heathen? Who is the heathen? Who
I
is
will
the
not
he?
say, I will say as much that,
You no, here's what I'm gonna say. You bring him to me. You bring him to me. Atomic Palm was my gym. You bring him to me, and I will set him straight.
all right,
You tell him. You
I've
tell.
eaten
Okay.
haggis.
I've never
Um,
had. I don't think I've had haggis.
I've been to Scotland, and of course, when in Scotland.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to go to Scotland just because it's Scotland. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Braveheart.
I was in Edinburgh, and it is the spookiest city ever. It's really cool because like the
Really.
whole thing is covered in fog, and all the buildings are
Mhm.
really old.
Yeah.
And so if your only impression of the UK is like super modern London, I mean, like
Mhm.
go to Scotland because it's just like every building you walk by, it's like, yeah, this is definitely haunted.
Well,
Um,
here's what we'll do. We'll hit Scotland. We'll hit Ireland because Ireland,
oh yeah.
Guinness.
Oh,
Okay, Scotland, Ireland, and Norway. There you go. Oh, we've got to hit Australia. Here's what we got to hit. Forget
because
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
No. Forget Vegemite. I actually met a sergeant major in the Australian Marines. Okay, you've heard of Foster's beer, right?
Which they hate.
Oh no.
I
You know
thought,
what? You know what he said to me? He said that's the crap we feed the tourists. It's not actually made in Australia. It's
yeah,
made in Canada. It's made in
every
Canada.
Australian I met, it was like, oh yeah, we just market it that way because Americans will buy it. And it's like, yeah, you fooled us.
Well, no, they said it. He literally said it's the crap we feed the tourists. Every we got to hit Australia too. We got to hit every province because every province has its own brewery.
I'm in. I'm
Okay,
all about tourism.
okay. So we're at Scotland, Ireland, Norway, and Australia. Okay. So yeah. Oh, April.
I
Ooh.
wish, April. I wish. Mickey definitely has some ghost stories. I don't, and not for lack of trying.
You know, I can't. My grandmother, my saintly grandmother, the book I just call her Gigi, short for great grandma. When I was a kid, she made me. She survived the Great Depression. She was old, like she was old as dirt. She survived the Great Depression. I ate a piece of. This is back when they only had bone-in chicken. They didn't have chicken tenders. You know what I'm saying? I ate a drumstick in front of her, and I did not eat all of it. She rips it out of my hand. She says, "This is how you eat it." She eats it in front of me. She throws the bone in the garbage. She hands me another one. She sits there and watches me eat it like a drill instructor. To this day, I cannot eat a piece of bone-in chicken without feeling like she's watching me and judging me. Seriously.
I've had some like spooky stories, but nothing that would be good enough to share on a
Mhm.
podcast. More like I
Right.
had this eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I'm sorry to let you down, April. But if you are in Edinburgh, go on the ghost tour because you go underneath the city and it's really cool.
Oh wow, cool.
Oh yeah.
I heard. Oh, I got a private chat message here. Hold on a sec. Let's see what we got. The Carl. Carl is the host and producer of Paranormal Nation Radio. As you can
Wait,
tell,
when you say Carl, do you mean Carl?
no, he's not. He's
Different
not
Carl.
that Carl. Way different Carl. Different Carl altogether. Yeah. So Carl, the producer of Paranormal Nation Radio, he's got April. He's got stories. He's got stories for days.
I love spooky podcasts, so I will definitely. You got a follower today.
There you go. Oh, let's see. Oh, Alexander Clark says, "Tell him what's in haggis."
It is essentially, I think, a stomach filled with guts and seasoning, and then cooked, and it's delicious.
So you're basically eating sheep intestine cooked in a stomach.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, there you go. Okay. I'd rather eat the rest of the sheep because here's the thing. When I was growing up on the south side of Milwaukee, we had a huge, and I do mean huge Greek contingent. I in front of an old world Greek guy, I used the word gyro and he skinned me alive. That was my first, like, if it was getting, if there was such a thing as a civilian ass reaming, okay. Yeah, he tore me up when it's Europe. I'm like 12, 13 years old, freaking out because he's going off on me. But yeah, no, I like the rest. I like my Euros. I don't know. I don't know about you know intestines. I mean, I'd try it because I was there. But yeah, check it out. Okay, we've talked enough about that. Let's transition into. Let me see if I got the question. If I don't got the question, I'll just
Off the cuff's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, let's talk about the writing program that I'm
All right.
developing, because what I want you and I to do, you're gonna help me, because here's the problem with self-editing, okay? When you self-edit long enough, it just all turns into white noise and you're just in this haze, you know what I'm saying? What I want to do, you and I are going to work together on this simply because you're the good guy. You're the good guy. I'm the curmudgeon that is occasionally nice and it freaks me. No, you're the good guy, and I'm the curmudgeon that's nice on rare enough occasions that it looks like a UFO sighting. He was nice. What the hell? And you're like, yeah, I saw it with my own two eyes.
You're plenty nice, and I'm more of an asshole than I let on.
So you're just better at being discreet about it than I am. That's all. You're like masterful at it. Anyways, we're not gonna be grammatical editors. Here's what we're gonna be co-editor. We're gonna be what I call psychological editors. Okay.
That sounds terrifying.
No. Hear me out. You're gonna get a kick out of this. This is my ancient. This isn't the manuscript laptop. This is a laptop I got from. Oh, hold on a second. Let's. Okay. Favorite joke about military branches. Okay, I'll start off. Oh, you go first.
No, you go first. You're the host. I'm the guest. You go first.
Okay. So I have to make an obvious editorial substitution because there's a button, bad, naughty word, blah, 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 blah. I was told, and by a sailor, I was told this, that Navy cooks were the only thing that could turn food to poop faster than the human body does. So yeah, then
right.
Go ahead.
Okay. So there's this sensing session that's happening, and there is a soldier, a Marine, and an airman.
Mm-hmm.
And so the person in charge of the sensing session goes, okay, so it's the middle of the night, and you're staying in your tent, and you see a tarantula has crawled into your tent. How do you respond? And the soldier goes, I take out my 9mm and I blast it straight to hell. And the Marine goes, you wuss. You were letting your weapon do all the killing. I take that tarantula and I crush it between my fingers. And the airman goes, well, I'd ask the concierge what a tent was doing in my hotel suite.
That's funny. That's funny as hell, but that's barely a joke because it's Air Force we're talking about here. So
I mean, it's probably literal, but
Oh, it is. Yeah. That's barely a joke. It's Air Force, so that's barely a joke.
I mean, it's all in the family, and I take great relish in making fun of my Air Force brethren and sisterin.
My uncle was in the Air Force, and for them, slumming it, the Ramada Inn was slumming it for them.
Well,
yeah.
I remember I worked with airmen before my career, and they've talked about their deployments. I'm like, oh, where did you deploy to? It's like, we were in the United Arab Emirates. I'm like, we're not at war with the United Arab Emirates. It's like, you were just staying in a nice hotel? Yeah. Just working on the air. Okay, cool. All right. But again, it's all in the family.
Well, the Air Force is the closest. It's like military cosplay almost, I mean, like if you, yeah.
I think there's definitely some jealousy there, because for me, joining the army was complete afterthought in life, because it was like I graduated college. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, well, I'll join. What are the branches of the military? We've got the army. We've got the army in the ocean. We've got the army in the sky, and then there's the Marines. And so I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not joining the Marines. No offense. So I got the 3 different armies, and then I enlisted in the Army. And people were like, what is wrong with you? You could have gotten in the Air Force. I'm like, what's the difference? And then, I get stationed on Air Force Base, like, oh, that's the difference. I'm an idiot.
My first 4 years, I was actually at an Air Force base once, and it's that walking in when they're calling each other, when they're calling a full bird colonel by his first damn name, and he's standing in line behind everybody else, and they have servants to pick up your trays. We're like, we've just jaws are hitting the floor, dude. Hold on a second. Oh, as far as the Paranormal Nation Radio, look on the WoW Entertainment page. Okay,
I will.
so
I love paranormal.
It's all on the WoW Entertainment page. It's going to be. I'll run off a list as soon as I can find it. I'll see.
I follow WoW Entertainment on Facebook, so I'll make sure to check them out.
Follow them there. They're on Twitch. They're on not Spreaker yet. Discord.
Okay.
YouTube, yeah. YouTube, Discord, Twitch, and Facebook. That's that I know of right now. They've got Second Amendment Ranch. They've got It's 1700 Somewhere. They've got the flagship.
Well, I've been on the bar, so
the bar is VRS, dude.
Oh, my bad. Oh, good. Ooh. Can we edit that out?
That's all right. Well, all I'll say is there's somebody over there that would be shocked seeing me. Well, there are a couple of people over there that would be shocked seeing me behave myself and be nice. Like the couple of them, I'm thinking would stroke out if they saw me being nice and trying to be conciliatory instead of Spazmaster Flex stateside, which is, yeah. But no, I am grateful for WoW Entertainment because they actually called. They offered me the show about 5 minutes after I told my Wounded Warrior Project guy, who I pissed off royally. I literally said to him, I've been struggling so bad. I said to him, I wish you'd have never let me live. I wish you'd have let me die in that hospital in New Jersey because it's like I've been struggling because I need to get all this stuff done, and to have to hold things in tension has been driving me nuts. So they knew I needed it, so they're like, it seemed like a sign from God because I'm not going to ask for a show because I have the manners of a honey badger some days. Okay, so to me this had sign from God. You need to take it written all over it to where I couldn't ignore it. Because I'm not going to ask for a show for myself. Okay, let's get back to the writing program. Okay, this is your brain. I have 6 to 8 functioning brain cells in this brain between the 2 deployments and the book. This is the laptop. Now, if you remember like your old pre-emissions era engines, you had an ignition coil that went to the distributor. Okay, you had a wire that went between those 2 things. The distributors would send electricity voltage through the wires into the spark plug. The ignition coil is your brain. The spark plug that goes into the engine is your laptop. That's what you start out as, okay? Because you've got a long path between your brain and the laptop or the notebook and the index cards that I'm going to have you using. Okay, that's a long path. There's when you use up voltage as you go from the ignition coil to the distributor, and then from the distributor to the spark plug in the engine. You lose voltage getting through all that, and whatever's left that crosses the gap, that's what gets in the cylinder, right? Ideally you want now today you have what's called a coil on plug ignition, where the coil's right there, the spark plug's right here. You have the smallest possible space. Therefore, you have a minimal amount of loss of voltage, and it runs more efficiently. What I want your brain to be, I want it to go from that old school setup to the new coil on plug setup. Because what you want when you're writing, you want an absolutely minimal loss of content from your brain to the laptop. That's why we're going to be psychological editors. Our job will be to help the veteran. And we'll throw in first responders and police, just because they're like goofy cousins, and we love them too. Yada yada yada. We want to help them tell those stories in such a way where There's an absolute minimal loss between here and there. That way they can get the most raw, potent content into that medium to make the best story possible. That's why I use the term psychological editor. That's what the writing program is going to be about. Okay. And that's what you and I are going to work on so we can put together the best product possible. That way we can give this plan and say, okay, go adhere to Murphy's Law of Combat Operations. Go ahead and blow it to hell for all I care. That's fine. I gave you something to blow to hell, and then improvise from that. And we want to keep it as simple as possible so they can operate it. So we want it as user friendly as possible. We want it as relatable as possible. We want it as easy to psychologically and spiritually digest as possible. That way, because your absolute enemy is writer's block, and you're always fighting it, always. So
True.
it's a combination. Okay. Here, I'm going to bludgeon you to death with another automotive analogy. Okay. Yes, you just get used to it. You have you're in your brake system when you have ABS, analog braking system. You build pressure, you hold pressure, and then when your brakes are about to lock up, you let back off. Okay, you gotta know. Like for me, I had a few litmus tests. If I wasn't laughing like an idiot school kid, if I wasn't crying and getting emotional, literally crying with tears running down my face, or if I at some point didn't want to get out of my chair, grab a sledgehammer just to start destroying things, the content wasn't emotional enough. You know what I'm saying? Like there would be times I'd be writing about stuff, I'd be sobbing, and it would be almost like this out of body experiences where my fingers are just moving and it's just happening. And then there would be sessions that are on the opposite end of the spectrum. Where it's like, what's a sentence? What's a word? What is English? You know, like I will always be a fan of Ernest Hemingway because I had an English teacher literally tell me Ernest Hemingway would have gotten a D in English and modern English. And I said, I think I literally said to her, well, what's the problem then? Hemingway or modern English? I'm siding with Hemingway. If he's one of the greatest ever, he would have gotten a D in English. Okay. So we're going to be psychological editors that help veterans first, obviously, but then first responders and police and LEOs. We're going to help them get from here to there in as efficient and in the best way possible to get the most potent, raw, honest content to get it from here to here as intact as possible. That way it's both cathartic and like I've got content in my book. I'll say there's one story you will never look at a colostomy bag the same way ever again. No, you will not. I had to tell two different guys tell me the same story to confirm that actually happened. It's that I want one guy who has my manuscript to read it to his significant other and see if I can see if it's puke worthy, like if it can make her nauseous. Okay, I want it to be that graphic. So yeah. So what are your thoughts?
I can't tell you how excited I am to eventually read your book.
I need it done because here's the thing. I learned what I'm not in the process of writing this book. I collaborated with at least 10 to 11 people. And then what I'll always regret is the one person that I failed with, because here's the thing. My buddy, my uncle in the book and one of my friends in the book, those are the two people you could not pry a compliment out of their cold, dead hands if it was a tangible thing. My uncle said my writing style is like that of Mark Twain. And my buddy that was in Baghdad said this will be the most controversial book in the last 20 years. Okay. I need this done because the publisher and the editor don't have to live with the disrespect that my collaborators would feel if I didn't get this done. So I need to get this done as badly as you need to read it. Okay. And about the one failed collaboration, let's say it is the most controversial book in the last 20 years from a military standpoint. I have then opened Pandora's box. They come to me and say, well, we read your book. We saw you rig the controversial meter with C4 and blow it to hell. You know how we said we were kind of nervous about telling our stories? We changed our mind. We apologize for not having any faith in you. And at that point, my inner perfectionist dickhead's going to be like, that was the one failed collaboration. You have to fix this now. You open Pandora's box. It's back to that mission first thing. I'm not supposed to be drinking these, but if the mission says suck them down and run like hell, I'm sucking them down and running like hell. So that collaboration could, in theory, still happen if the book is controversial enough and it gets the people that I failed in the collaboration with to say, okay, we need to swallow our pride and go talk to that person and make this happen. He opened Pandora's box. We have to put our pettiness aside and see this through. So that's where I'm not a project manager. I will never be a project manager. You and I, our collaboration and one cookbook collaboration, I'm going to be like O'Day on crack, on Rippets, okay? In the sense that I'm going to be this giant man child just running around being creative and retarded and stupid and giddy because A, I need to decompress from the book, and B, I need to demonstrate that I am not that psycho perfectionist dickhead caricature that I've become. So when we collaborate, I'm going to be he's like Alex Jones retarded on dangerous amounts of Rippets. He's insane. We need to tranquilize him like right now. You see what I'm saying? So when we do our collaboration, I'm gonna share with you what I got so far, and we're going to make it as user friendly as possible, and we're going to make it as it's going to be one of those things where they read it and they'll be like, this dude just barfed up his entire soul. He barfed up his entire soul, and he made it to where it's like he ripped some of my thoughts out of my head and stole them from me. I need this out now. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. So when we start doing this, we need to make it to where we make it so relatable. People have to, they feel like we ripped their soul out and just throw it in this book and be like, oh, I need to start journaling this, and it'll just, because like with part 2 of my book from my time in Baghdad, that was going to be the only part, literally. Then I did all the collaborations, which are just supposed to be confirmations. Because once you say you're only going to do something, your subconscious mind is going to be like, oh, you are so wrong. You are so wrong. So that's what you and I are going to work on. We're going to develop that, and we're going to make it as user-friendly as humanly possible. And I threw some stories in that were horribly dysfunctional. I'll tell you one right now, here in a minute. Actually, what are your thoughts? What initial thoughts are coming to mind when you talk about this collaboration?
Well, keep in mind I'm on night shift, so I'm a little bit, out of it right now.
Oh, I got you.
But I mean, obviously, I'd love to collaborate on this, and I really want to help inspire other military veterans to write. So yeah, I'm down for this project. If you need someone to sort of take the administrative lead, I can do that too.
You'll definitely be doing that. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna throw the ideas at you, and you're gonna take it like clay and kind of
make it
because
manageable.
Well, it's not. I'm not like emotionally invested in it like I am the book, because the book is based on true events that have to be verifiable. This is just a messed up after action report that we can play with. It's not so much fictional, but it's more subjective. So we can really do some good tweaking, and that's fine. It's more of a philosophical, rant that we're going to try to make into a workable thing to get because I want it to be, veterans will read it and be like, I officially have no excuse to not talk about this, to not I would love to see it in vet centers where shrinks are handing it. Start reading. I want to see a notebook. I want to see a laptop. I want to see index cards because the index cards are going to be used. Like if you get this random thought and like Sheldon Cooper hated like random thoughts that he couldn't get rid of.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, trust me. I like and on Call of Duty, I'm the Sheldon Cooper of Call of Duty. I'd be like, that's my spot. I get in my spot. I kill anybody that's in my spot. That's another random thing. The index cards are intended to get the random thoughts out of your head, but you don't get rid of them. The only person who's allowed to say that a random thought doesn't have some potential to turn into something else is your editor. You don't have the right to censor. The thing I learned and that I'm going to teach when you're collaborating with somebody, not only can you not censor them, you have to actively discourage them from censoring themselves because you never know where a random thought or a subplot's going to go. You think you know, but you don't. Because again, parts 1 and part 2 was going to be a standalone. That was the only thing I was going to write about. Part 1 was all the collaborations. Part 3 was part 1 getting so big, I had to turn part 3, all the random stories into part 3 because I couldn't flesh them all out playing phone, Facebook, and email tag. Because when I started this was before the age of Zoom and StreamYard. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of create this disciplinary thing to where the writer himself he's almost conditioned to not I'll give you an example. When I came out of the coma, the nurse hands me the phone like this. And she says, "For you." I answer the phone. And my buddy's like, "You do realize you were in a diabetic coma for you do realize you just came out of a 2-day diabetic coma, right?" Every time I see my phone like this, I get this weird urge to go to the gym to work out. Okay, and it wasn't something I decided on. We need to create like these conditioning cues to get the veteran writer to just start vomiting up stuff that he's uncomfortable with. We need to get him comfortable with crying, laughing, screaming, and wanting to grab a sledgehammer and just start destroying stuff. Not necessarily that he does, but we need those emotional cues to condition him. Okay, I'm wanting to cry and scream and break things. I need to run to the laptop right now and just vomit this up right now. That's what we need to do. And we need to encourage them to go from laptop to notebook and back and forth because you do a lot of self-editing when you go from laptop. I've just discovered that you do a lot of self-editing, a lot of extra editing. It's like an extra draft almost, transcribing back and forth from laptop to notebook. So we need to. That's going to be one of the big things we need to harp on.
Sorry, I just got a text about work, so that's exciting.
Oh, there you go.
I know, always on the clock. That's one of the great joys about being in the military.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, and my soldier passed his ACFT this morning. Woo!
Woohoo!
Little things in life, right?
There you go. You got to take every little win you can get in this day and age. In the
He's
age of the Rona.
fine. He's gonna be fine. So
well, my fat carcass is starting to run again. That ought to tell you what kind of I'm going to be bike riding a minute, basically 14 miles a day once it stops raining. Like we're in the Amazon rainforest during the rainy season. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to create that program. And then we're also going to work on the cookbook. You're going to be my guinea pig because
if you need someone to taste the food, I volunteer as tribute.
Well, you're going to taste the food, but I'm going to my goal is to make the cooking system so simple. You could go to other people and be like, I have the cooking acumen of a mason brick, of a fence post, and this system is simple enough for me to use that I actually have confidence to use it. Okay.
Yeah, you need to learn how to cook, then you probably deserve a Nobel Prize.
Well, that's the plan. That we're also collaborating on the cookbook because right now I'm in my room. I've been isolating into here, and it's bad. So I need to get moved out into the living room, which is just basically another storage room, really. And I need to get out of this room because I've been isolating and I've been in my own head, like my buddy, like one of my co-hosts, Cameron, is, and it's like I need to get out of my own head, like right now. So like tomorrow, before I go get my new set of tires, I gotta get this setup moved into the living room, and I need to get here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. I'll show for everybody, for my Woe Entertainment audience. Hopefully next Thursday, here will be my new background.
All right. I like it.
Ironically, I got it from a crazy Canadian chick, but that's a story for another time. It's weirdness, but yeah. So yeah, and we're gonna get these two things done. I'm gonna build my grill. Like some of the stimmy money might go to building my grill because I gotta keep two promises in the book. I gotta recreate the turkey that my grandmother grilled. My God bless her, my stoner grandma. God is my witness.
No, I've heard about that.
She picks up the bird, plop, plop, the drumsticks fell out. When you can get white meat to not taste chalky and grainy, you know how to cook a bird. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna collaborate on the writing program, and we're gonna collaborate on the cookbook, and we're going to make it the most simple, the simplest and most user-friendly thing possible. They'll be like, we'll use the term Alex Jones. I'm kind of retarded simple. Okay, that's the plan. So that we'll get together.
Internet, hashtag that.
Yeah, and there you go. Hashtag Alex Jones. I'm kind of retarded simple. There you go. That's our new gold standard for the cookbook and the writers program. We need it that damn simple and easy to use. That's what we're gonna do. Because yeah. So there's our plan. There's yours and my plan going forward as far as the collaboration is concerned. Okay. And our goal is to have everything ready by Warrior Fest in November. So we'll do this in baby steps, a little bit at a time, and we'll just I'll send it. Send me your email address in private chat, and I'll get on my ancient manuscript laptop and I'll send it to you tonight.
Oh, that sounds good, man.
And keep an eye out for an episode. You might become here's the thing. One of the reasons I'm building this grill. Okay, I'm doing the bacon wrap Brussels sprouts and the bacon bomb and the watermelons. I'm doing them right now on my brick oven out back. This is to do it more efficiently because 3.5 hours to do it is it's a bit of a slog. But I'm doing that, and I'm recreating the turkey, the grilled turkey. Here's the thing. I've lived in North Carolina for about 5-6 years now. This is shameful. This is horribly shameful. I've never smoked anything. Like I've never smoked anything. So I talked to my neighbor. He's going to let me borrow a smoker for when I do the Irish mobsters mashed potatoes. Okay.
That sounds amazing.
Well, his name was I called him Irish Mobster. He's Irish. The man, God is my witness, he looked like a mafia don in a suit. He made Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother look like a bag of ass in a suit. He looked so good in a suit. Like he looked like a mafia don that would I'm not going to be mean to him. He might have me whacked. Okay. He had this love affair with mashed potatoes. Okay. So I'm going to when I say a love affair, he would have a plate. He always got a double order of mashed potatoes. So I am going to make the biggest. I'm going to take my 12-quart pressure cooker, and because he's Irish, I'm going to get a keg of Guinness, and I'm just going to start pumping, and I'm going to boil the potatoes in beer, in Guinness. And all I'm going to say is, when I fire up the smoker, you will see the biggest, manliest batch of bacon bits you've ever seen. We'll call them alpha male bacon bits. Once I get the stimmy money, we'll simply call it the Irish Mobsters mashed potatoes episode, and you'll be hooked. You'll be like, I'm going to learn how to cook now. This nut job is going to teach me how to cook in the simplest, unrepentant alpha male way possible. To where I want you to feel so damn confident. You'd be like, dude, he taught me how to cook. If he can teach me how to cook, shut up and get in the kitchen. You said all your veterans are struggling. Shut up and get in the kitchen. This cooking method, this cooking system is literally that simple. Okay, that's the plan. So you're going to be my guinea pig for the simplest possible way to cook and write.
Yeah, for everyone out there, if I can cook whatever Mickey's got, literally anyone on Earth could. I'm
Mhm.
still struggling with toast.
Well, we'll deal with that later. Anyways, okay, we got about 10 minutes left. So, what's on your mind right now? Just tell me what you're thinking as a result of the whole interview. Tell me if there's any way we can help out. If there's any way, like we want your guys watching this stuff. So, because what we want is, I mean, we want to help veterans, right? But the smart thing to do would be to help them while they're still on active duty to process some of their dysfunction now. That way it's easier for them to deal with once they take off the uniform. Because the problem is when you're downrange, you stuff all that dysfunction down. Okay. We want to help them process stuff safely while they're still on active. So maybe we can get them watching the show. Maybe we can get them interacting with these shows now and be like, okay, I can process this now so it doesn't turn into dysfunction down the road.
Well,
So,
my recommendation is even if like for anyone who's listening who would like to eventually write something about their military experience,
mhm.
document as much as you can now,
Yes,
because your brain cells are only going to start dying. So
I've got
take
6 to 8
pictures.
left, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Take pictures, write down quotes that are funny, like just try to like capture what things are like. Because like I didn't make GI comics while I was deployed. So there was a whole deployment that didn't have any kind of funny comics being made about it.
Mhm.
So it's like if I was to like try to go back and make comics about my time in Kandahar, it's like I just it was hot outside. There we go.
What you could
So
do, go get you guys together. Get you guys together and start brainstorming about it now, and it will come back. How do you think my book happened? Okay. Start Zoom calling. Like, start Zoom. I'm not saying right now, but start.
yeah, I want to go to bed.
No. Start planting the seed. Like right after we get done here, right after we get done on StreamYard, send like a mass private chat message. Say, hey, this dude wrote a book with 10 guys. He did it the worst way possible. He wants to help me help you, help us all make comic strips about what we went through downrange. Once you get those neurons firing again, they're not going to unfire. You just got to keep up at breakneck speed to get all. You always start out in footnote bullet point form. Always start out with bullet points and build those bullet points into thoughts and ideas, and turn the thoughts and ideas into paragraphs and chapters. You see what I'm saying? Baby steps. Say just send a mass send a mass private chat message saying, hey, watch this share the podcast with them. Say, watch this podcast. I want to take all of our experiences and turn them into comic strips. Start thinking about this, and this. Start writing bullet points down about stories. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, yeah, someday, if I feel like sort of doing a book, I even have a title picked out, First World Problems in the Third World. I know we don't have too much time left, but I got the
Yeah.
idea when I forget what holiday it was,
Mm-hmm.
but it was I think it was Veterans Day, and
Mm-hmm.
Veterans Day in Kandahar, and they had this whole spread of food for us from the chow hall,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, oh, best Veterans Day ever. And I got to the cake, and it was the worst cake I have ever eaten in my life. It was sugared sponge with, yeah, it was. So I'm just like eating like, I was like, "Oh god, this is the worst cake ever." And I was
Mhm.
like, "Dude, you're in Kandahar province of Afghanistan. You are literally a few miles away from people who don't have running water. And you're complaining about the cake?" And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, first world problems in the third world. So it just every time we'd have those moments, you just feel like it's like oh, the internet is so slow in our mods. It's like okay, just take it down a notch, all right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then with the cake thing, it was just like, all right, shut up, Marie Antoinette. It's just whatever.
Yeah. So start working on that, and we'll use that, to because here's the thing. One guy in my book, all I'll say is, he earned. Let's just say he I had to change. Well, all I'll say is he said he would not be able to give me one story when we first started collaborating. He gave me six. Okay, so plant the seed. Oh, I won't be able to do this, this, this. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it's like you won't be able to shut him up. Plant the seed now. You just planted the seed in a manner of speaking by saying that. So say, hey, watch this podcast. He wants to help us get our experiences turned into cartoon strips, and then plant that seed, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, and then we could turn this into something beautiful. What do you think?
I think it sounds like a good idea.
So yeah, we'll do that, and as soon as we get we'll talk some more offline, and then I'll get my ancient laptop up and running, and in a little bit as soon as I grab another bite to eat because I got stuff I gotta do. So um, we'll get this all going. We'll turn it into something beautiful for. 'Cause again, if we keep it simple enough, the goal is for the veteran to say, I have no freaking excuse to not do this. He took every single excuse I had. He rigged it with C4 and he blew it to hell. I gotta do this. I need it out of my act. Now I need it out of my soul. Now I need it out of my system. It's time to do it. You see what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
plan now. So, all right, we got what 2.5 minutes left. So, final thoughts. What's on your mind? Just throw something random out
Well, if I can do a quick shout out, I've got a podcast that I'm working on with a buddy of mine called the Dead President Society podcast,
there.
in
Okay.
which we do a deep dive into the forgettable presidents and vice presidents. So, I mean, like, if you really want to learn about the Gifford Pinchot, the Ballinger Pinchot affair, I got a podcast for you. But obviously, in addition to that, make sure to follow GI Low on Facebook and Instagram. And then if you don't already have one of the GI Love books, they are all available on Amazon.
That is beautiful, dude. And this is the thing about our community. We need to get back down to the grassroots, and we need to get back to the basics of communication and respect and that love that we used to have when we were on active duty because all we had was each other. Okay. We got to stop fighting with each other because here's the problem with us. We know we're all we got and we know we can take the abuse. We got to at some point start saying, this abuse thing is not helping at all. Okay, if it destroys the community, then it's not worth it. So
Well,
this
it
needs
just
to,
boils down
yeah,
to we build each other up. We make fun of each other because that's what we do, but just build each other up because as you pointed out, we are a family.
and we gotta put the dysfunction in its proper place and say, okay, now's the time to circle the wagons and be about helping each other. And with Woe Entertainment, like with all the other really good or veteran organizations that are worth a damn, give us a holler if you need something. We're here. I'm as dysfunctional as they come. I've got friends that I've had to talk down, and they know where I'm at. You know where I'm at. One thing I want you all to know is we're here for you. We've got veterans who have skirted suicide. We've got veterans who have dodged that bullet, so to speak. We get it. We love you. We're here for you. Reach out. Well, if I can't help you, I'll find somebody who can.
And I'm here
Uh,
too.
So we're here out of that beautiful dysfunctional love. Hold on a second. Time up. Yeah, I know. So technically, I have 10 seconds. We love you. We're here. Give us a holler if you need something. Like hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm about to do an episode where we're going to turn my $320 9-vial blood test into an episode on literally, we're going to call it testosterone for idiots. The basic is, so I'm going to, yeah. So, all right. GI Low. GI Low, my guy, the good cop to my bad cop. The Harambe
That
keeper.
makes sense. Yeah.
The Harambe keeper, A.K.A. Spaz Master Flex, the bad guy downrange. We are Woe Entertainment. Peace out.